this?
Welcome to the Thorogood Show.
Welcome to the Thorogood Show.
Put your hands in the air like you just don't care. We promised you that we would find a way to get a show pulled together. We didn't want to miss out. We didn't want you guys to miss out. So it's kind of like a really poor episode of Back to the Future, Charlie.
It is, isn't it?
This is Monday. We're recording this, but we're recording it as if it's Thursday, and the chat's going to be bouncing. But we've got no chat to talk to, so it feels really weird, but it feels really right at the same time. So, Charlie, how are you?
I'm all right. I'm good. I'm doing good. It's really weird being a Monday, but we're doing this for the Thursday, so we're kind of back in the future, going forward. But yeah,
is this the first time this has happened? Is this the first time that you pre-recorded a show to premiere it?
This is the first time we've ever pre-recorded a show to premiere it. Yeah.
This could be an absolute disaster, but I'm up for it.
I'm up for it. Who cares? But yeah, like we only see each other 4 days ago. Was it? Yeah, it was 4 days ago. Absolute quality show last week, and now we're back again already.
I know it's like
it is weird.
No pickups though. That's the only thing, Charlie. I must pre-warn you and pre-warn the chat. I have like no pickups between last Thursday's show and today, which is pretty surprising. So we'll just need to keep those a secret for the next show that we do.
I got a pickup. I got some pickups.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I got a delivery on Saturday.
Oh,
no, actually, no. Yeah, it came today. It's Monday. It came today. So they're only the comics that I get like on my pull list from Galactic Comics. So it's nothing special. Still collecting Power Rangers. Love my Power Rangers. Nice. Ryan Parrott's last run, I think, in issue number 18. So yeah, it's picking up. But I do like these connecting covers though. Like you link them all up and they all tell the different characters and stuff. So that's quite good. The Eltarian War we're in now with that, and then we've got the ever-going Seven Secrets. Fantastic story. Still loving this. Have you read this?
I think I dropped off after like issue 7 or 8. So I've promised myself I'm going to dive back in. But I'm just waiting for you to pick it as a review, and then I'll need to backfill and read all the
14 issues.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I managed to get this.
Oh, that's a bit of a sneaky key, isn't it?
That's a bit of a sneaky little key, wasn't it? So this was going for silly money on eBay, but then John over at Galactic Comics put on his Facebook chat. Still got a couple of first prints going for cover price. Anyone wants one, drop me a message. I was like, do you know what? I'm not a key hunter. I won't just jump on a bandwagon, but I actually do really like this cover. So even if it was a key or weren't, I wouldn't really.
Did we not like kind of a take the mick out of that cover?
I think we probably did. But then I looked at it like on League of Comic Book Geeks and I was like, it's actually like quite good. And like the detailing on it as well.
Who is she?
She's the Queen Goblin.
Oh, right. Okay, cool.
So,
nice pickup. That was good of John at Galactic Comics to.
It was good at John at Galactic Comics.
Price.
It was like, I think he had like 3 or 4 of them, and it's in pretty good condition as well. So
fair play. Yeah.
But that's all I picked up, considering we only did a show 4 days ago.
Well, it's more than what I picked up, so that's something. It feels almost like we should jump in and see how the chat's doing, but there's no chat.
Well, what we can do, we can pretend and we can say, right, what we're going to do now. Obviously, we jump in. The chat is buzzing. Let's jump in and have a look, and then we'll get some comments up. Yep, that's how it's going to work.
There we go.
There we go. That's how we'll go. But yeah, no pickups. Andy, it's the first time I don't think. You make me emotional. I don't think it's the first time you've ever had any pickups.
I know. Listen, not as emotional as I am. It's the first time that we're pre-recording the show, and the first time that Andy doesn't have one single new comic to show anybody. But that gives us more time for reviews. It gives us more time for killer covers.
It does. And on that note.
Do you know what I love about StreamYard? I love that we can see each other's little like preview window, and I can just see us all of that. Like,
Just all little boogieing down and stuff. So obviously this is killer covers for week 23, which is Thursday this week. So I just say we jump straight into it. It was a close week last week, to be fair. I think you nicked it. I think you pipped it at the post 56 to 44, I think it was, but it was close. But yeah, so who's up first this week? Oh,
guys, can we just? Oh, this is this took my breath away. This cover, because it is the color work, the artwork, and it's one of those books where you could look at and see different things from it every single time that you look at it. This is Miles Morales, Spider-Man issue number 35, and this is the fantastic Derek Chew Virgin variant cover. Guys, take a load of this. Just take it in. Just let's take a moment. I know the chat's buzzing. They've all fell off their chairs. They've dropped their beers. Just take it in. This cover is superb. This is one of those covers where if you don't pick it up, you're going to regret it, and it's going to be double, treble the price on the aftermarket. I just think it is an absolute stunner. And how good would this present, Charlie? I can just see it on the back of your wall in a CGC case.
It would look
CGCS
nice.
case.
It would look nice. And do you know what I like about this is that it ties back to the Miles Morales film, the Spider-Verse. It ties back so much to that. And I think, I like Derek Chew's work. I've got quite a few of what he's done for like Harley Quinn stuff. So yeah, I really, really do like this. Yeah, this is a standard cover as well. It's not a exclusive or anything.
I think this might be an exclusive because I seen that it had like the trade dress and then it came as a Virgin cover as well. So I think this one is an exclusive, so it might be a little bit, more dollar. But it's worth absolutely every single penny. I mean, the bit that got me is when you look at Miles and you obviously see him there with the old school sort of cassette player. Look at his foot in the foreground, sort of just leaning on the can. I just think the perspective is stunning on this.
It is great. It's a great cover. I think you've picked a good one. Eh? You really, really have.
Started high. The bar's set.
We have started high, and going on from that, I'm up now. We've got the IDW Publishing with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the last run in issue number 5 by the fantastic Tyler Kirkham with the Virgin variant. There's not really much I can say about this cover, is that the fact that this is absolutely fantastic by Tyler Kirkham. He's got all the rest of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles weapons behind him, and he's just aggressive. I think the story's coming to an end now, and this cover is a fantastic way to sign off what's been an all right story, but it's just the color work and like the reflection of the water dripping on his back and stuff.
My only problem with this cover, Charlie, I'm going to counter your enthusiasm here.
Right.
So it looks as if he's sitting having a poop.
I was thinking that as well.
Like, and it's not like it's an aggressive one. Like,
he's smiling about it. He's enthusiastic. He's as enthusiastic as I am about this cover. He's there. He's like, yes.
He's got a really bad case of the Ninja Turtles.
He has Ninja Squirtles. It could be. Who knows?
But
I just think Tyler Kirkham's good at what he does. I've got quite a few variant covers that I picked up from Unknown Comics and Comics Kingdom of Canada, and he's really good at. And I really do like him. Like the veins popping out. He's really straining for this comic book to win, isn't it? But I think he's great. The thing that I really like about it is that the fact that there's a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles weapons behind him, stuck into the wall. And their bandanas and everything, I think it's quite good. So I do
like the little sort of homage to each of the characters and stuff like that. That are obviously spoilers, not there anymore. But I'm just so glad that this issue number 5 is out. It feels like I've been subscribed to this run for at least a year.
Yeah, and the thing is, it weren't consistent with the releases either. It was like 1 or 2 months, then it was like 5 months. But we're here now. It's the end issue, and there's some fantastic covers out there. So this is my pick. And then staying on the way of the Turtles and stuff like that, we have Tom's pick, which is the last run in issue number 5. And obviously it is friend of the Killer Comic Show. It's John Boy Maz with the variant A as well. John Boy just smashes it, man.
Listen, this is a Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cover. No disrespect to Tyler, but I think out of the two of them that this might be the one that pips it to the post. I think I don't know what it is, but John Boy Mars seems to be fantastic at drawing rain. Is there such a thing as drawing rain? But the atmosphere that he's got, and you can just tell that it's one of those sort of wet, windy, dank days. And yeah, this is stunning.
Yeah, I think it's going to be. There's 3 fantastic covers this week. I think the last couple of weeks have been pretty dry. Like, let's be honest, it's been slim pickings. Either I've picked it or you've picked it, and we've picked the 2 of the best that have come out. I think there was quite a few this week, and I think like the 3 that we've picked is going to be a close one. So
there was so many covers this week. Like it was a bit of a treasure trove to pick, and it was reasonably difficult to pick it. But I'd say certainly these 3 are sort of top 5 that are coming out for next week. But yeah.
And what we're going to do, because there isn't going to be a live chat, there's no live chat going on with the show this week. What we'll do, I think tomorrow, Andy, we just post up the comics, the comic covers, and we'll put them on Instagram and stuff, and we'll just let the vote go, and then maybe we announce it.
Yeah. I would say even on the community thing on the YouTube, you can put up like votes and stuff like that. So if everybody goes there, we'll stick it up on our socials for everybody to go vote. And once you've voted, if there's a cover that we've maybe missed that you guys think, these guys have missed a trick here, then post that up on your socials and just hashtag it Killer Comic Show. And we'll maybe feature it on the next show to see alternatives of what other people like. Because this is obviously just what we like. Other people might have other tastes.
Yeah, so we've got Your Amazing Miles Morales Spider-Man 35, Marvel, Derek Chu Virgin variant there. We've got the Tyler Kirkham Virgin variant for the last run in issue number 5. And then we have one and only John Boy Maz with his variant A for the last run in issue number 5. They are the 3 covers of the week for week number 8, February the 23rd. We'll post them up on socials. We'll get it on a community tab on YouTube, and then we'll announce the winner sometime this week.
Yeah.
Does that sound good? That sounds sweet.
Sounds like a plan.
It does sound like a plan, doesn't it? Right, so what we're reviewing this week. So it is week number 7. Again, I say this every week. We review the comics from the previous week. So we are now in week number 8. We're reviewing week number 7. We had Tom, who picked Iron Fist issue number 1 from Marvel. We had myself, who picked the Silver Coin issue number 9 from Image Comics. And we had Andy, who picked Rain issue number 2, again from Image Comics. See, Image again. I think this is the 3rd week in a row that Image Comics have been at the forefront of our reading.
Absolutely, and wait till we get to near the end of the show when I do my indie picks. You'll be surprised. Image is in full force.
Jesus. So up first, take it away, sir.
My pick. Yeah. So we have Rain issue number 2. We had a lovely selection of covers that people could choose from. My favorite, and I know that we're biased because it's a Killer Comic favorite, is the main cover by Zoe Thorogood. We've got the cover B there by Elizabeth Beals, and we have cover C by Deliz and Dylan. That cover C is pretty gruesome. The crow with the eyeball and stuff like that. So yeah, this is obviously written by David M. Booher, and the artwork is by Zoe Thorogood, and Joe Hill obviously is involved in this.
See, I didn't know how to include that because obviously you got David doing the writing, you got Zoe doing the writing, and then it says Joe Hill's story. So kind of.
So this is based off of a novel that Joe Hill done.
Right. Okay.
So it's basically an adaptation of a novel from Joe Hill. So it's Joe Hill and David Booher are the storytellers, and Zoe is the artwork. That's how I understand it.
There we go. Right. Cool.
But what a dream team! What an absolute dream team! And I would say for Rain issue number 1 that we reviewed. If you haven't checked that, make sure that you go check out that episode. For me, it was top first issue that I'd read in maybe a couple of years, and I put it there. Probably going to be one of my top picks for 2022. And with every really good first issue, you sort of worry that the second issue just isn't probably going to be that good. But in all honesty, I feel that if it's at all possible, that this issue might have been even better than issue number 1. In true apocalyptic sort of style, the stories kind of moved on. The events happened in issue number 1. We've got the crystal shards have come down and they've killed Yolanda and her mother, and Honeysuckle is obviously dealing with that loss. And like any apocalyptic story, there's obviously some sort of road trip that has to happen, and this is where issue number 2 sets us up for that adventure that Honeysuckle is going to go on. So she's heading to Denver in this quest to tell her girlfriend's dad that effectively his daughter and his wife have been killed because of this event that's happened. But with any good road trip, it's not good unless you've got some sort of companions following. And not only do we get the lead into where they're going to go and the road trip that's happening, but we get introduced to at least a couple of new characters in this book. And I don't know what you thought, Charlie, but I thought the pacing of this issue was absolutely spot on, despite the amount of new characters and new information that you were getting.
Well, do you know what? Like, Zoe Thorogood, this is awesome. Like, her artwork is, I think we've said it a few times now, it's so special in the fact that it's not perfect. But, I mean, you look at the various other comics that we read, everything's perfect, like the artwork, the line work, everything. With Zoe, it's imperfect, but it's perfect the way that she does it. Like, I don't really think there's any other person that can kind of do the way that she does it. And the way that she's working with the writers on this, it's just a dream come true. Like, it's perfect. The artwork, as you said, the pacing, the narrative of each character, the character direction, the building, the way the story's flowing. You're turning over every single page with anticipation, thinking, I'm on issue 2. I don't want to turn over. I don't know what's going to happen yet. I don't know what's going to happen, because issue number 1 ended with this almighty, bloody, apocalyptic shitcast of crystal shards raining death on everyone. And then you kind of think, where the hell can you go from here? And then we end up in issue number 2, and it's tender hooks, man. It's such an enjoyable story.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think Zoe's, the way that she builds the characters and builds the panels on the page is superb, and also the angles that she takes of the characters. That it's not always going to be face on, but a lot of this story is sort of told from the bottom level. So it's sort of Honeysuckle's shoes that you see walking in the shards of glass and stuff like that. I think I've picked these couple of pages as my kind of my favourites. The one on the left-hand side is when she's having this conversation, and you can see that, I think this was maybe the first page where we actually see Honeysuckle's face, and that was kind of a representation for me that she's dealing with that loss. And, like when anybody's dealt with loss, that you don't want to show your face, you just want to hide it. And this was almost a representation of Honeysuckle hiding in the corner until the 3rd page, where you see her face and then she starts talking about how she's feeling. And what I liked about this particular page is that it kind of set Honeysuckle up for this adventure that she's going. She's going to go and seek out Yolanda's father to tell him what's happened. And she's basically saying, well, you can either sit and be really sad about what's happened and that lost Yolanda, or you can think about what would Yolanda want you to do? How would she want you to spend the rest of your days? And that kind of spurs Honeysuckle on to go, yeah, do you know what? I'm going to do this for her. The page on the right-hand side, this is where it got a little bit crazy for me, because we get introduced to an MMA fighter who likes to save cats. but it's
don't we all?
It took a bit of a left field turn for me. But the reason I picked this particular page is because you can see in one of the panels that's inside the main panel, is that she took the shards of glass, a little bit like the adamantium claws for Wolverine, and just took one of the, what would you call that guy? He was like in kind of a cult setting, wasn't he? He was part of a cult, and just takes that left hook and just shreds his eye. So this issue wasn't for the faint-hearted at all. There was some violence, and the way that Zoe was able to depict that, I thought was just absolutely perfect. So for me, this issue was everything that I wanted it to be. All my worries that I had from reading issue 1 were set aside, and I'm invested. I cannot wait for issue number 3.
Do you know what I think? I love the fact that the way Zoe works every single panel. Like, if people aren't reading this, get onto it and read it. But I mean, if you're looking at this thinking, oh my God, there's so much narrative crammed in to 1 panel, 2 panels, it flows so easy that you don't realize how much is in the speech bubbles of 1 panel. I mean, look at the top panel. You've got 5 speech bubbles up there, and it looks quite condensed. But the way that it's written and the way that it just flows, you don't even realise how much you're reading. Like for a 32-page book, there's quite a lot going on, but it didn't feel like that. It honestly didn't
definitely.
feel like
And the
that.
fact that this was based off a novel as well, you know, you could forgive it for being a little bit word heavy. But there maybe was one or two panels that this one is a perfect example of being a little bit word heavy, but you know, it needed it. It needed it for the backstory, and it sets everything up. That particular panel that is word heavy there sets absolutely everything up, because that's her basically getting, you know, talked down from the bridge and said, you know, things are going to be okay. You need to keep going for Yolanda's sake.
Like for me, this issue, I'm massively into my Walking Dead, so I really like the apocalyptic zombie, bloody rain thing raining down and stuff like that. I'm really into that. When she started going on the road trip and she's on her own and stuff, I was like, this is going to get good. Like, who is she going to meet along the way? Like, is she going to meet different people along the way? Is she going to meet other people that want to kill her? Is she going to meet other people that are trying to find their lost loved ones? And then we come up to these two crazy cult followers that are literally just been following her to take her back to, I can't remember what his name is. What's the leader of the cult?
Well, I can't remember that. And it would, do you know, the thing I got about that is that it seemed an insignificant character to be introduced to so quickly. But you just get that feeling that there's going to be a bigger relevance of that character as to why the shards are coming down, and you know why is this happening? Why is it following them? So just as the weather is following Honeysuckle as she goes to Denver, you're sort of thinking to yourself, are these guys going to follow her? Yeah. Obviously, the one in the bottom right hand panel definitely isn't going to follow her anymore.
And they're obviously thinking about like there's talk of it being like a terrorist attack and everything like that. But I mean, I think in the first issue it rained for like, what was it, 3 minutes or 2 minutes, where it was literally done. In this one, it only rains for like 4 minutes 30. So is it going to get longer? Is it going to get short? I don't really know. Is it going to be more impactful? There seems to be more shards of glass forming this time and falling on people. Is it going to get... I'm interested to find out how this is actually going to go. Is it going to be less shards of glass that fall down, but they're going to be bigger? Is it going to be like a meteor shower? I don't know. It's so interesting.
Just one big, massive shard of glass just comes down, and, you know, it's like the pin in the world sort of thing. Because what's interesting is if you look at the covers that Zoe does, it looks as if they might be all connecting covers. And the one consistent thing is that massive piece of shard glass that goes through all the characters. Because I don't know if you noticed, it shows you a preview of issue number 3, and it looks as if there's a shard of glass going through one of the other characters. So you might be able to join them all up, and that could be, you know, really important for the story.
That's quite good, actually. Yeah, because I mean, issue number 1, there's exactly the same thing. There was like 5 or 6. I think the John Gallagher cover I picked. I think me and Tom picked the same cover for cover of the week with that comic as well. But for me, I like issue number 3. I like cover C.
Yeah, cover C's nice. I think for me, I'm going to stick to the Zoe's covers just because I think they're all going to be connecting and it'll be really relevant to the story. So.
But yeah, definitely for me, this is 100% killer.
Absolutely. Again, David Booher and the guys just absolutely killed it on this book. The story's fantastic. The pacing's great. Artwork is superb. And I can't speak highly enough. It's the book that I look forward to reading. So can't wait for issue number 2.
I think this is going to go under the radar. You know. I think.
Do you know what I think?
Done already.
I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting. I think it's one of those ones where people only start getting interested in it if it's going to get picked up or optioned for TV or movies or anything like that. And I can certainly see this getting picked up in some form or fashion. But I think with this one, you know, get the first 2 issues, sit down, enjoy them, and you'll be invested in the characters because you want to find out what happens to Honeysuckle in this adventure that she's going on. And I think that's testament to David Booher, because this character feels a little bit like Canto, because Canto obviously lost his the heart and stuff like that, and then went on an adventure to find the heart. This kind of feels something similar to that.
Yeah, I did like the fact that they was talking about like she wrapped her girlfriend up in a blanket, and you don't get to see her in the blanket until the very end, like until the end of when she's like ready to leave and stuff. I thought that was quite good how they didn't show that. Yeah,
absolutely. And it's so. Did you find that really personable as well? Because I'm sure that everybody has experienced it, where there's that sort of, because they talk about the smell of the blanket as well, And there was one bit where she said, like, I almost wanted to wrap myself up in it with her and just go away
Disappear,
and fall asleep.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure at one point, you smelt that smell, or you've seen something that just reminds you of a loved one that's passed away. And I thought that stopped me in my tracks. That really touched the heart.
It did. But yeah, it's a definite killer for me, and it was a killer for you. It's a good way to start off the show, isn't it, with a killer. Great.
Again, we'll set the bar, Charlie. We'll set the bar.
We've got smashing covers this week. We've got smashing comic issue number 2 of Rain. Up next, the Silver Coin issue at number 9. This was my pick. This is obviously written by Vita Ayala and art by Michael Walsh. The main cover is by Matteo Scalera, and cover B, which is the Matteo Scalera. No, it's not. I've totally got these wrong.
Oh,
I don't know.
That's okay. We're not even live. It doesn't matter, Charlie.
It don't really, does it?
Keep it out.
But yeah, this is the main cover by so-and-so, and cover B by so-and-so as well, and it's not a black and white cover anyway. But I've been really loving the Silver Coin. I've been really, really loving it. And we spoke earlier. I read this on my way to work today, and I was like, I enjoyed it. I did enjoy it. I think the artwork was great. I thought the story was okay. But then, having spoken to you, and then I read it again on my lunch, I was a bit miffed, as to what happened. It seemed very short.
Have I changed your opinion, Charlie?
You did, because I read it and I was like, oh, I'm gonna read it again. It was the first thing I read when I got on the bus this morning to work. I was like, yep, I'm going to enjoy it. Read it and I was like, oh, actually, yeah, it ties into issue number 8. Ties in quite well. You see the same homeless man, which I pictured here. You see the same homeless man, which picks up the coin at the end of issue number 8. So you're like, they're all really starting to tie in now. This comic went from page 1 to 26 in a matter of minutes and skipped the whole middle part. I honestly felt like there was something missing in this story. I feel like there was no character development, and even the character that we're seeing here, the main antagonist of the actual comic here, I'm a bit shocked and I feel let down, to be fair. I really wanted this to do so after how good last issue was, and how impactful and dramatic and gory it was. Coming into this, I thought this is going to be good. Bit lackluster for me. I enjoyed it first time around, then I read it again and realised, wow, I feel lost. How did you find it?
No, I lackluster. Yeah, I guess it was just okay. That's what I felt after reading it. Again, like you, Silver Coin has been high up in my reading pile. It's on my pull list, and I look forward to every single issue. I try to look at the covers and go, right, what's it going to be about? How are they going to bring in the Silver Coin, and what's the Silver Coin going to do? And I feel like for the last 9 issues, I've been sort of almost waiting, hoping that they're going to bring this all together and it's going to mean something, and we're going to go, there's going to be that, oh, right, okay, I get it now moment. And again, after issue 9, I don't feel as if, I certainly didn't get that, and I don't think anybody else that reads it will get that. Probably just, it tied in a little bit because we've got this kind of a caricature of a dirty cop with a gambling problem, and he's got this, evil, sadistic streak, and he finds himself in a position where he's in New York, and he is looking for, basically what's happening is this was based on true events. So this happened in the Bronx, and I think in the 70s it may have been, where the price of houses that for insurance purposes were a lot more than just having the physical house there, or the apartment or condo. So I felt that the actual factual nature of the backstory in this and the environment was actually more horrific than the actual Silver Coin story that they based it on. It felt almost like 2 separate entities. There was this fantastic story about real life events that was happening in this book, and then they tried to squeeze in the Silver Coin, and it didn't really mean anything from the Silver Coin way of doing things for the last 8 issues. It wasn't really a horrifying thing. It just seemed to be that this Silver Coin miraculously went on fire, which sets the fire in the building that the guy's trying to get the insurance job on, and the door becomes locked. So you imagine that's a silver coin that's locked it in and is effectively trying to kill this guy. Yeah, I think Lackluster for me was probably the best way. It's one of those ones where, of all the issues, this one was probably the one where I was like, oh, I'm nearly on the edge of pulling this off my pull list. But just because I'm so invested now for the last, 9 issues, both covers, might I add, I've been picking up.
Have you really?
But yeah, I've been picking up both covers for all the issues, especially the first 5. I've said it before many a times when we're reviewing this book. It feels like we've reviewed maybe nearly every issue of this. That the first 5 issues for me were as close to perfect as you'll get.
Yeah.
Especially that 5th issue. That was the best for me, and that's saying something, because obviously Ram V done issue number 7, I think it was, but issue number 5 is the go-to for me. But this was just, yeah. I mean, the artwork was excellent. I thought the artwork is on point. I love the way that Michael Walsh is able to interpret different writers' stories. And there was a couple of panels, Charlie, I don't know if you remember them, where the faces melting off the women.
Yeah.
And I thought that was the most horrific part of it. I was like, oh my goodness, it's almost like the guy's imagination was more horrific than the horrific silver coin, if that makes sense. So
that kind of ties into like the main cover, doesn't it? Really, like the whole like melting of everything, and you find that out halfway through the story. You kind of find out what the significance of that is, and stuff. But I've got to agree with you. Like I felt a bit let down, to be fair. Like, this story's been so good, and I know it's an anthology where you can kind of pick it up at different issues and stuff. But if I'm being honest, I think I've missed this issue totally. Like, I don't see, other than the little tie-in parts from issue number 8, it's not really.
But issue number 8 was set up perfectly at the end, because you had the coin falling into the hands of the homeless person, and you thought, oh my, like this could be it. This could be where the silver coin absolutely goes ballistic, because there was an opportunity there for this, homeless guy to take it and wreak havoc. But then, in the blink of an eye, and inside of half a panel, he basically gets it taken off him without any fight, and he's kind of a cast to the side.
But I think he knows. Does he know? The narrative of this, like the way that they're talking, they know each other. It's like they know each other, because I think the homeless man's like, we was going to do big things together, and I think that's him talking to the coin.
Yeah.
That's him like talking to the coin.
That's exactly what I got from it. But I was just so surprised that he gave up the coin so easily and so quickly. Yeah. There was 2 characters in this. Well, one character was the young girl that nearly died in one of the fires in the house. I thought there was an opportunity there that she could maybe take the silver coin and become a bit evil. And then there was also these kind of a close-up shots of her doll that had half its face melted off in the fire. And I thought, there's another opportunity. So maybe in issue 10 we'll get all that stuff coming together and it will kind of make sense. But for me, it wasn't great.
Yeah, unfortunately, I'm going to have to say this was a binner for me this week. I didn't think I'd be saying that for the silver coin, but yeah, I'm going to say it's a binner.
I'm going to sit right in the fence on this one, because I thought for what it was worth a read, and especially the subject matter. I think it's one of those ones where this could be a really good separate story if it went into all that. But it just didn't need the silver coin.
Yeah, I just think I'm going to say it's a binner. I think I've really enjoyed the silver coin, and that's thanks to you for like picking it and making me read like 8 issues so far. But then obviously reading this one, I was like, yeah, this is going to be good. Like, the homeless man's got the coin, he can evolve with this. We're going to see him, how he's going to go from like homeless, and the power of the coin is going to like get into his mind, and he's going to do other stuff. And he literally, within 5 panels, he's lost the coin and he's become a nobody again. And I think they missed the trick here. They could have taken this and evolved it, and we could have seen a lot more of him. And this could have been like this. The main character, this could have been in like issue 11, where once we've seen the homeless man and how he's done all this and stuff. So I think they missed the trick here, going from like issue 8 into this. For me, I wouldn't even bother reading this. I think the subject matter, obviously, like where it's real life and stuff, read it, but as a comic and as like the main characters go and everything, I don't think as you said, I don't think you needed the silver coin. I really don't.
Yeah, I'm kind of going to give it the benefit of the doubt in this one, just because the last 8 issues have been so good, and I'm hoping that the next issue or the next couple of issues sort of tie back into this one, and we sort of go that moment. So here's hoping.
Well, this is what we tend to do on the show. We start off with a killer, and then sometimes it's a killer, and then sometimes it's a killer. Sometimes we get really lucky. We have 3 fantastic cover picks, and we have 3 fantastic comics. We've had 3 fantastic cover picks. We've had 1 fantastic cover so far. We've had this comic, which was my pick, and then we have Tom's pick, which was Iron Fist issue number 1 by Marvel, written by Alyssa Wong and artwork by Michael YG. We've got 8 covers for this, 8 covers for Iron Fist. We've got the main cover by Jim Chuang. We've got the Todd Notch headshot variant cover. We've got a Dragotta X Gwen variant. We've got the Scan Shrews Wan variant cover. We have a Wanted Comics Lucio Perillo trade. We've got a Wanted Comics Lucio Perillo Virgin. We've got the 1 in 25 Leniel Francis Yu, and we have the 1 in 50 Gunji variant for Iron Fist issue number 1. Andy, would you like to take this away on Tom's behalf?
Yeah, absolutely. So first of all, cover-wise, the Wanted Comics cover is pretty magnificent, if I do say so myself. I've bought a few things from Wanted Comics, so big shout out to those guys. The 1 in 50, obviously the homage to Spider-Man, which is pretty cool. It's really, really nice. So yeah, whenever Tom had picked this, I was like, oh, happy days, because it's one of those ones I needed an excuse to read it. Because you know what I'm like, it's most I go with my indies and then I look at Marvel and DC. So I knew a little bit of backstory about Iron Fist, and what I tried not to do is to go into this based on the Iron Fist TV show, which everybody really didn't like. But for me, so backstory being there's a new Iron Fist. Oh, shock horror. Danny Rand, he basically gave up his powers in one of the last comics that he was in. So for me, I was wanting to find out, right, who is this new Iron Fist? Where did he come from, and you know, where did he get his powers? And I think for me, we found out exactly who it was. Can we do spoilers on this? So
yeah, I go for it.
It's Lin Lee. It's other AKA Swordmaster, and I love the character of Swordmaster, and it kind of fits that kung fu, the abilities that he has, and the story of this kind of I didn't understand how he became Iron Fist, because I know there's some sort of backstory as to how they acquired being the Iron Fist and all that good stuff. But effectively, Lin Lu has acquired it because the sword that he had has shattered, and he fell into the water. And I think he fell off a cliff at the end of Death of Doctor Strange, White Fox. He falls into the water. And this issue shows him being sort of the dragon reincarnating them. And apparently the backstory to this is that the shards of glass have got impaled in his arms and his hands, and he's now got the iron. That's why he's became the Iron Fists. And he has the power of the sword in his hands. I thought that was quite a cool idea, quite a cool concept. But I think in true sort of Marvel fashion, I think there was just the story in this was kind of a little bit lackluster for me. It was kind of jokes and little quips, and it felt a lot of it was kind of taken out of the Shang-Chi movie, specifically the part where they're all sitting on the table having dinner or lunch or whatever it was, and he's talking to the grandmother. This was kind of, I felt like lift and shift into this book, because it was a bit where they're sitting on the table and they're all talking to each other. The action was good. The artwork was exemplary. I thought it was fantastic. That page on the right hand side, I thought was great. The color work is superb. I just don't know. Did we need another Iron Fist? Well,
we had Marvel last week. We had Devil's Reign last week, and it's a great comic. Like, you picked some great panels there, and a really, really good comic. Like, I'm really enjoying it. And again, the White Fox Doctor Strange, the Death of Doctor Strange, that's a whole another. Like, it's a whole nother run that Marvel were doing with the Death of Doctor Strange, and you've got like numerous tie-ins and stuff. The tie-ins, I can say recently, the tie-ins between Devil's Reign and Death of Doctor Strange, they've all been quite good. Like I've enjoyed reading all the tie-ins. So when we had like the Swordmaster and the White Fox fighting and stuff, that was really good tie-in. So I was kind of knew a bit about the backstory when I went into this. I've never really paid that much attention to Iron Fist. Like if I'm being honest, like I watched the TV show, I quite enjoyed it. I watched all of them a lot. So I love the Defenders and stuff. But for me, it was the weakest TV show out of like the Jessica Jones, the Luke Cage, and Daredevil and everything. Did we need another Iron Fist? I don't think we did, but surprisingly, I quite enjoyed this comic because I found it quite refreshing because it was a character that I haven't really paid much attention to, haven't really been that much invested in, and I think
Would
I'm
you read
interested.
issue number 2? Would you
I
read
think
issue
I
number
think
2?
I will. You know, I think I will. I'm interested.
I just don't know why we need a new Iron Fist who isn't really Iron Fist because of the way that he has his powers
Hmm.
and the sort of origin story was kind of a like lacking in like drama, and it's no unique. It's something that we've read before, and it's almost like they were trying to fix a problem that didn't exist for me in this book. Swordmaster is, and he's going to be Swordmaster to me because that's
Mhm.
where I
Yeah.
found the character.
Mhm.
I think Swordmaster, White Fox, all those characters, they're going to be the future of Marvel, the Marvel universe. So make sure that you're picking these characters up. But I would say that because he's became the new Iron Fist in this particular issue, that this is probably going to be one of those issues that's going to be a key for a long, long time.
Do you think he will go back to being Swordmaster?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. No, I think they'll probably have invested too much in this story, and you'll probably see he becomes Iron Fist, or he sort of brings out that he's Iron Fist, and he'll just team up with Danny Rand because Danny Rand, even though he isn't Iron Fist, he still has all his kung fu ability, and he's just a crime fighter who kicks monsters' arses, but he's not Iron Fist. Which I just what was the point of changing it? I just didn't understand it.
The thing that I did like about this is that I love the fact that Luke Cage, his profile picture for when he calls, he looks like a 70s weed smoking hippie. Like I think that's hilarious. Like the fact that he's married to Jessica Jones and he's calling Danny Rand, and he looks like a 70s hippie smoking weed.
Danny Rand was just like cocky, really cocky and arrogant in this book, and it was like he instantly disliked the character that he was, and I just don't know. I just don't know. I was a bit lost. I was a bit like, what have I just read there? And for me, this wasn't strong enough for me to go and read issue number 2. So unless somebody specifically says to me, look, a new character has been introduced and you have to go read this, or somebody picks it on this show, then I probably won't pick up issue.
I did like the fact that we had a DC crossover. I think in one of the panels there, in the small panel in the main image, we have we've got Man-Bat attacking him. We have Man-Bat attacking Danny Rand. I thought that was quite cool. But yeah, I think I don't know why I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. Like I was like, I'm interested in this, and I think it's because I haven't been a massive fan of Iron Fist, and it was something new. And obviously, I was like, oh, Swordmaster. Oh my god, here we go, Len Lee. I'm interested. I'm actually like quite excited.
What I would strongly suggest that the chat and the people watching the rewind do is go and pick up the Swordmaster run. So it was a 12-issue run, and that will introduce you to a good representation, a solid character representation for me of Lin Lee, and that is probably going to be the character that we'll all see down the line in the MCU. It's a fantastic story, and I think issue number 1 is a little bit more expensive now, just because that's kind of the origin story. But Swordmaster and Shang-Chi sort of team up, and it's great storytelling.
I don't know why. Because I'd read Swordmaster when this was here, when I was reading it, initial one was out. I was like, I kind of know that. I was like, I shut off and was like, right, Swordmaster's done. This is Iron Fist. Yeah,
and I think that's what maybe troubled me slightly. I was like, what happened to Swordmaster? Why do we need to change it? Do you know what I mean? Give me Swordmaster back. It's like, does he need, like, what if we just had Danny Rand continuing his Iron Fist with Swordmaster?
That'd be good, yeah. So now it's like kind of Danny Rand's gone back to being, what is he now, like a pizza delivery man or something, and he's just now with Swordmaster, and they're going to tag team and take over Hell's Kitchen.
Yeah, he still has all his abilities. Like, he's not Iron Fist, but he still has all his kung fu abilities. So, yeah, there's an idea. Why don't we get Shang-Chi, Swordmaster, and Danny Rand just teaming up? There we go.
See, that'd be a crossover that I'd be interested in reading. I'd really be interested in reading that.
Marvel, if you're listening,
just gets a call. So yeah, I'm going to go with a killer for this. I'm into it. I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it.
I don't like to call books binners, but I'm going to sit right on the fence in this one. And can we just take a moment to ask the question: does anybody pick up the Todd Knock covers?
I don't.
I don't blame you.
I don't like. It's just every single comic he does is a headshot variant.
Yeah.
Or as I've mentioned
here, fine.
As I've mentioned here, it's a head.
Come on.
Head hot. There we go. But honestly, every single comic cover he does is, and everyone's got their style. He's clearly got his style, and he does do other covers. They're not just headshots, but it just seems it's very tiresome. I can't imagine being in my LCS and seeing just those 4 covers and going, you know what? I'm going to pick up Todd's. No, I know, but I'm going to go with a killer for this. I did enjoy it, and I think it's because I know who he was before. I kind of shut off on what Swordmaster's done. I'm now getting into Iron Fist. So yeah, I'm going to be reading number 2. So thanks, Tom, for picking that.
I'm right on the fence. Thanks.
You're that much on the fence. You're going to get splinters in your bum.
Listen, not for the first time. And Tom, you ruined Swordmaster by making me read this.
But yeah, I thought it was okay. I thought I enjoyed it. I'm not going to lie. I enjoyed it. It'd be interesting to see what the chat, if they've been picking this up, if they've been reading this, because as we said last week, with Devil's Reign, there's a lot of tie-ins, so you are getting the tie-ins from this, and everything's leaking out, so you're getting different characters and different Marvel stories. Marvel, as we know now and again, they keep rehashing new characters, old characters, and it just falls by the wayside. But if this is a comic cover for you, or if this is even a comic for you, enjoy it, read it, because I liked it.
Yeah, no, and again, like let us know in the chat, let us know in our socials what are you guys picking up and reading, because we're only picking 3 books out of hundreds that were out last week. So let us know what you've been picking up, and is there anything that maybe we're missing that we could look to read in the future.
And if you didn't know, Lucio Perillo is with the fantastic Carla Cohen. So yeah, if you haven't checked out that show yet, head back over to the Killer Comic Show and check out our interview with Carla Cohen, where she goes in. She speaks about how she works with Lucio as well, and like how they like float around ideas and stuff like that. So yeah, head over there. It's just a little free publicity there. Head over there and check out that show.
Was this not one of the books that Carla got offered, but she turned it down because it wasn't in her sort of style? Like
I think it was. Yeah, I think she doesn't like. She's not really into like superheroes and stuff. Where she would more draw sexy naked women. So yeah, I'm glad she continues to do that, and she left. So
Lucio said, "I'm going to do
that. Yeah. You stick to your beautiful Vampirellas and Barbarellas, and you carry on doing that." But yeah, so that's for me. That's another killer.
Still on the fence.
Still on the fence, getting splinters. Normally at this part of the show, we'd head over to YouTube and go, "Oh, let's have a look at who's winning a cover of the week." But who knows? Just chat. You decide. Drop it in the chat, and we'll find out.
We'll remind them. Let's. Can you? Is that too much?
No. We can
bounce back to that page.
So what we can do, we can go back to. There we go. We've got Andy's entry this week. We have mine, Tyler Kirkham. We've got a Ron in there doing a poo poo. Yep. And then we have John Borman's friend of the Killer Comic Show. It's going to be close this week, you know. I really, really do think it's going to be close. It's going to be interesting.
It's that rain that does it for me. I'm telling you,
It is that rain. It is that rain. And talking about rain, we're about to rock out and rain like we've never rained before, because we've got these. We are raining hellfire with that intro. Do you know what? I can't wait till we go Thought Bubble and you rock out to that theme tune. It's going to be great.
Here, listen, as long as it doesn't go on the Instagrams, I'm all good. I don't care. But this, it feels weird rocking it on a Monday night. Like Thursday seems far more appropriate. But I'm sure the chat can do it for us.
The chat can do it for us on a Thursday, but this is overdue. This is where I'll sit back and relax for a bit.
Nice. Over to me. So this is Killer Indies for next week, March the 2nd. And first up, we have Nocterra issue number 8, written by the fantastic Scott Snyder, artwork by the sublime Tony S. Daniels, and another Image book, can I just point out? So we read issue number 7. We had that in one of our reviews, so make sure that you go check out that video on the Rewind. And that was the start of the next arc. And I think we all marked it as a killer comic. So again, I'm pure invested in this. I love it. You were a big fan of this, and I sort of dropped off it for 2 or 3 issues, and I was so happy that you picked it, and I was able to go and read and get caught up. So I'm all in for this one. You looking forward to this, Charlie?
There's nothing that at the moment. There's nothing Image can do wrong. Like Image for me are my favourite publisher from 2022. Like they're killing it. Like they had such a strong 2021, and you think it can't get better, and then they drop stuff like Rain. They drop stuff like Nocterra. It's just, I can't wait for this. Like I've read the trade paperback already again, and I'm looking forward to reading issue number 8. Like issue number 7 was wicked. Like when they had the massive cinema screens and stuff, and it was telling all different stories there. I'm just so interested to see how this is going to tie in, because obviously at the end of issue number 7, Val has now got her team together to fucking kill Blacktop Bill. Like the tables have turned, so I'm really looking forward to it. It ended on a cliffhanger, and I'm looking forward to picking up issue number 8.
Yeah, definitely. This is part 2 of Pedal to the Metal. So the deadliest hunters in the world become the hunted as the ferrymen take matters into their own hands, and Blacktop Bill sees the light as these 2 treacherous journeys lead on. So it feels as if it's just going to ramp up. And the one question I had, and it's gone a little bit of a tangent, when are we going to stop calling Image an indie publisher? You know,
you pick them every week.
I know, that's the thing. Every time I pick, but that's the thing. See, when you go into the likes of League of Comic Geeks and things like that, and you specifically take out Marvel and you take out those guys. If I had to take out Image as well, I'd have hardly any comics to put on my list. So
maybe it should be Killer Image picks.
I like what you did there.
Every single week.
We should just have an Image section. Do you know? But yeah, this is Nocterra issue number 8. So I'm assuming Charlie's going to pick this, and will probably be
100%. I just don't. I love it, and I really like Blacktop Bill. I just don't want him to die. He's such a great character.
Unless he has like a son or something like that can take over the mantle. I don't think we'll be seeing the end of Blacktop Bill anytime soon. Next up, we have crossover issue number 12.
That was a great segue there you did there, mate. That was a great segue. Unless he's got a son that can take over and cross over. Look at that.
Did you like it?
That was awesome.
Smooth as butter, Charles.
Smooth as that fence you're sitting on, mate.
Smooth as this. So again, this is from Image Comics. Can't believe that we're 12 issues into this. It seems like only yesterday that my fellow panels and pints were doing the reviews for each issue. Go check out those on Comic Deals channel. So this is written by Donny Cates, and the artwork is by Jeff Shaw. And have you been keeping up to date with this, Charlie?
I'm up to issue number 10.
I bowed out after Chip Zdarsky's issue number 7. So should I get stuck back in a little bit like I did with Nocterra?
I would. I'd give it the benefit of the doubt. Like, I'm enjoying it, and obviously this is a homage cover going back to issue number 1 of the first cover that they did. I'm enjoying it. It's not like I don't look forward to it every week, but it's on my pull list and it's there, and I'll read it when it comes out. And it's an easy read. I do enjoy it.
You've sold it to me. So this apparently is part 5 of Meanwhile.
Yeah.
The comic book killer has been revealed, but can he be stopped? Well, I'm not going to tell you here. This is a solicitation. Don't be ridiculous. Anyway, I feel like all we do is talk about me and the book. How are you? How's the shop going? You guys check on Rosenberg's new book yet? What's the furthest place from here? Man, is that a good book? Anyway, got to run. Over 1 million copies of this issue, please. Bye. I love the solicitations that Donny Cates does for this. I think they're fantastic. I think he's just having so much fun with this book.
And the thing is, in issue number 11, I don't want to ruin it for you, but
he appears, doesn't he?
I thought like that was wicked. Like I was like, this is like it was wicked. Like we've had Chip Zdarsky in it, and now we've got Mr. Donny Cates, and it was great. Like it's a good comic. Image know what they're doing. They really, really know what they're doing, and they're doing it well, consistently.
Donny Cates knows what he's doing. That's the thing. It's like I say in Chip Zdarsky we trust, and Donny Cates we trust because 9 times out of 10 he gets it absolutely right. And what I think might be good for this is, like, you know how we had the first 6 issues, then we had the Chip Zdarsky.
Yeah.
Can we have another Chip Zdarsky for issue 13?
Yeah, just to break it up.
Can we know that yet, please? That'd be great. But yeah, crossover issue number 12. Next up, we've got Newburn issue number 4. Our third. This is a hat trick of Image Comics. This is written, did you like my segue there, by Chip Zdarsky, and the artwork is by Jacob Phillips. So again, this is another one that we've been keeping close to us, and we've been reading. I think we've read all issue up to issue 3. Yeah. Will this be another issue we'll be reading, Charlie?
100%. This cover's amazing. This cover, like the black and white, like the shading on this is great. This, we read issue number 3. I think it was 2 weeks ago. I was in Germany, hiding in a hotel room because I thought the fire engine was coming through the hotel room. But this is like Newburn. This is it. I mean, we've like Image did. What's that comic we chose last week? The one that I'm absolutely loving, the agent one.
Oh, King of Spies.
King of Spies. This is another one that Image are doing so well. Like the gangsters, the warfare. It's wicked. Like King of Spies and this.
Crime noir. I think that's the genre that you're plucking there. And I totally agree. I think Jacob Phillips has killed the artwork on this. I think that, you know, Chip's writing's great, but Jacob Phillips has absolutely knocked us at the park. And the solicitations for this says a cop is dead and none of the families claim responsibility. Newburn will have to tread carefully or else he might be next. Plus the conclusion of Brooklyn Zirconia from Shamas and Ayub. So that's like the little after story that they do. But yeah, I think this might be a book that's really under the radar for a lot of people. I can understand why people might drop off if that sort of genre is not their thing.
Yeah.
For me, this might be a perfect book to pick up in a graphic novel.
100%. I think the way that Jacob Phillips has done the artwork in this, if you just pick up the trade just to look at the pictures, like it's worth your money. It's 100% worth your money. But what I like about this story is that the sidekick that now Newburn's got, she's a quirky character in herself.
Yeah.
And she doesn't quite trust Newburn and what he's up to, but she's warming to him and she's kind of getting on with it and she's becoming a bit gritty. She's having her attitude and stuff. So, yeah, Newburn issue number 4, I'm all in. I'm either going to, I've got 3 comics to choose between.
Like, I know I was going to say, it's going to be a tough week to pick our pick for the week. We might need to get the chat involved and get somebody from the chat to pick a book.
Yeah, definitely.
For that week. So, yeah, that's Newburn issue number 4. Next up, we have, surprise, surprise, we're not sponsored by Image Comics yet, but this is Rogue Sun, issue number 1. This is written by Ryan Parrott and art by Abel. And I didn't know anything about this book. I don't know anything really about this book apart from the synopsis. Yesterday, New Orleans' greatest hero, Rogue Sun, was murdered. Today, rebellious teenager Dylan Siegel discovers that Rogue Sun was his estranged father, Marcus, and that he's inherited his father's mantle, tasked with protecting our world from the forces of the supernatural and solving his father's murder. Dylan will be forced to come to terms with the man he spent the majority of his life hating. So Ryan Parrott has done Mighty Morphin, he's done Power Rangers and Dead Day, and Abel has done the art for Harley Quinn and Crimes of Passion. So this is sort of the talk about this has been a supernatural murder mystery that explores the complicated bond between father and son and cements itself squarely in the corner of Image Comics superhero universe. So it sounds like this might be a character that Image are going to be bringing in and going to be investing a lot of money and a lot of time in to build that Image universe that they're talking about.
Do you know what? It sounds like I think this is going to be a slow burn as well. You know, Radiant Black?
Yeah.
I think this, like, Radiant Black, when that came out, everyone was like, Radiant Black, what the hell? Like, not really into it. I think this is going to be the same thing, you know? I think a lot of people are going to look at this and go, superheroes, Image Comics, is it going to work? I'd give it the benefit of the doubt. It's Image.
It's worth a read for the first issue.
Yeah,
I think.
yeah.
I think it's fair to say, because if anything, there's going to be a barrel load of new characters that are going to be introduced, and it sounds to me as if Image are going to be using these characters as part of an Image multiverse, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I totally agree with you, Charlie. I think when you first look at this, even the artwork suggests that it's kind of a Power Rangers-esque. I know you're a huge Power Rangers fan, but for me, not being into Power Rangers, that would instantly kind of put me off. But this is a number one. It's as you say, it's Image, so give it a go and see what it's like.
Like, Ryan Parrott's a good writer, and he's very good at what he does, like superhero, like the way that he portrays the characters and stuff. So yeah, I will give it a read, and then obviously if it doesn't work out, then we'll shake hands and we'll say no more.
Indeed.
But yeah, it is interesting that you mentioned Dead Day, because I loved Dead Day. Like, Dead Day is. Did you read it? It's wicked. It's so good, and you can see why it's been optioned for a TV show.
Okay.
It's great. Honestly, like the premise of that is that every day, one day every year, the dead come to life, and people get to go and spend that time with a loved one and engaging and stuff. And it's good. It's a really, really enjoyable story. Like, and I think it's out of trade already, so I'll definitely be picking that up. If I haven't got it already somewhere, I'll probably have. You know what I'm like. But yeah, Dead Day's great, and Ryan Parrott, as you mentioned, read that as well. So
I will definitely be checking that out. There we go.
Definitely.
Look at this.
Look at that. There we go.
Next up and last, I believe it's not Step by Bloody Step. This is Dynamite Never Dies. I picked this up purely because of the cover art. So please ignore the writer and artist details there, because I clearly haven't updated that. Charlie, you had one job to check.
Hold on. Yeah, I did check it and I missed it. So
sure, we'll just go. We'll rewind and we can cut all this out.
That'll do. That's fine.
But yeah, the artwork for this is from the same guys that do the one about the dogs. I completely forgot the name of it.
Stray Dogs.
Stray Dogs, that's the one. Yeah. So Trish Forstner and who's the other guy? Charlie. That's going to annoy me now.
I know.
Guys, we review comics. We are meant to know about comic books. And do you know what's going to really annoy me? We'll be halfway through the end segment and I'll remember the name of it and I'll be like, oh, what's that?
It's Trish Forstner and Tony Fleeks.
That's the one. Yes, that's the one.
Yes,
so it's his cover, and I thought the cover was stunning on this.
It's a really good cover. Yeah, it is really. She kind of looks like Poison Ivy a bit at the top.
Get that sort of vampire Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
And this comes as a Virgin variant as well, but I actually don't think the Virgin variant is as good because obviously the text isn't there. But
this
I feel
like
as if the text.
It's like a 40s movies a 40s movies poster, isn't it? I think that's kind of what draws you in. Like, you can see that stuck up on a wall somewhere. Yeah,
that's the vibe that I got from it, and that's what instantly I stuck this. I put this in my pull list just for this particular issue. Dynamite wouldn't be a book that I would be actively going to pick out, but this cover looks fantastic. So if you see this in your LCS or you have seen this in your LCS, make sure that you pick it up.
I think I think this would just be a solely a cover buy for me. I think.
Yeah.
And obviously it's written. The artwork is by Hassan Otsman Eloy, who done.
I think he's doing that. He'll do the lettering for it. He does lettering.
And what was the comic that he absolutely smashed out of the park?
Chicken Devil.
Chicken Devil. Love that.
What a Chicken Devil. Yeah.
There we go.
So that is all my indie picks. Apologies for that last slide. I didn't update it. Charlie never caught it. I'm not joking.
Giving that a little
But
scan.
yes,
Look, there we go.
guys, get your phones out and make sure that you go to Instagram.com/perpetual.comics, or you can find me over on Twitter at Perpetual Comics. Close to that 950 followers on Instagram. So feel free to come and join me and see all the books that I'm buying and all the crap that I'm holding.
One man's crap is another man's treasure, mate, and you got quite a lot of treasure. So
here, listen, one man's crap is another person's eBay purchase at the moment.
One man's crap is a Last Ronin cover. That's what they say, isn't it? So there we go.
Probably so.
There we go. But yeah, there's some fantastic comics there, mate. I tell you, I'm going to struggle to pick one for next week.
Yeah, that'll definitely. So yeah, I guess if that's next week's cover, so it'll be the week after that. It'll definitely be tough to pick the books, which is a good thing for us comic readers. You know, we might need to up our game and do another book there, or maybe the chat can pick a book and we review. Maybe even somebody from the community, the killer community, can come on and help us review.
Why not? Go for it. But yeah, talking about killer community and everything, we've got the killer trades now for February the 23rd, which is obviously... No, it's not. I've missed an update again. It's not for February the 23rd, because this is February the 23rd. It's for March the 2nd. Bloody hell. This is what happens when you do a pre-recorded show on a Monday.
Listen, Charlie, I know that a tree fell on top of your car during the storms, but that's absolutely no excuse not to update the slide.
I'm just waiting for the tumbleweeds to hello, darling, my old friend.
I can actually hear people unsubscribing in the future.
Anyway, this is the killer trade for March the 2nd, which is next week. Up first, we have, it's back to you again. Go on, you take over. Go on, you do what you've got to do. I'll just sit here wallowing in self-pity. Go on, mate.
Well, we have The Nice House on the Lake trade paperback. This is volume 1. This is a hefty 200 pages. Coming in about $19.99. So
it's not bad
for us. It's not bad for 200 pages. For us guys in the UK, that'll be what, 15 quid, give or take. Yeah. Written by the fabulous James Tynion and Alvaro Martinez Bueno. Fantastic name, fantastic art. Who we had the pleasure of meeting at Thought Bubble last year. So this collects The Nice House on the Lake issues 1 to 6. And this has been fantastic. Every single issue has been consistently good. It asks a lot more questions than it gives the answers to. And you know what? I'm okay with that because the artwork complements the story perfectly. And there's just enough eerie sort of... Did you ever watch that TV show back in the day called Eerie, Indiana?
Yes. Yeah.
Dude, this is Eerie, Indiana in a comic. You just don't know what the next page is going to turn. And I have all the issues, but I'll be picking up the trade. I cannot wait.
Do you know what? Like, I did enjoy it, and it's freaky as hell. Like James Tynion has done something really special here, obviously. The only thing that I didn't like about this comic in every single issue is the transcript. So when you hear what I struggled with was like the characters were named like the receptionist or the doctor or the butcher and stuff, and it was kind of like you when they was on the page you knew where they were, but then when it goes to the typewriting transcript, you're like, who's who? I'm kind of lost there, man. I can't work it out. It's a great story. It's really good. It's freaky. It's scary. It is good, but it's just them little things. I was like, that was just. It became a mundane task of reading the transcript, going, I can't be bothered with this.
It's funny you should mention that because for me, I actually felt that added to the story because you almost felt like you were a little bit of a detective at some points. There was a couple of panels where it would be like a double page spread and they'd be in the room and you'd think like I'd read it digitally, so you'd find yourself sort of zooming into all the things
and looking at all the different things.
And I think that's going to be the beauty of having the trade paperback because you can be that detective while you go through trying to understand what's going on and who done what and so on and so forth. But you know, I think this comes out roughly about the same time as issue number 7 is going to come out as well. So obviously it was in a bit of a hiatus. So just cannot wait. Give me more. Take my money.
Pretty smart of how they've done that. They've literally brought out trade paperback issue number 7. So it's similar to what they did with Noctera. Like the trade paperback came out, and then I think about 3 weeks later, issue number 7 came out. So yeah, it is good though. It is good. That was just my little me being nitpicky, thinking, but it's great. The artwork is amazing. And some of the remarks that Alvaro Martinez Bueno did at Thought Bubble were incredible. Like I've seen some people have posted them on Instagram of they got some signed and then they got handed over to Scott's Collectibles, and they've got like a 9.8 back yellow label CGC signature with a remark, and it's wicked. I see one of the remarks that he did of the main character Walter on this, and it is sensational. Like it's freaky as hell, but it's fucking sensational.
Yeah, no, it was so funny because at Thought Bubble, obviously, James was the kind of a star. It felt like the star attraction, and the queue was crazy for him most of the time. And then you had Alvaro sort of close to him, and like geeks like us who are invested in their comics, we knew who he was and stuff like that. And it was just, it was crazy to think that, you know, you probably have to go, that's the guy that done the artwork for Nice House in the Lake, as opposed to everybody knows who James Tynion is.
Because it was an interesting setup, because they had Scott's Collectibles, then they had James Tynion, I think they had Alvaro Martinez Bueno, then they had James Tynion, and then they had someone called Michael Dilianis. Was it Dilianis didn't we send panels in a half pint? We sent him up to
I think he got his autograph. Yeah.
If you haven't heard that story already, we will save it for another time. Maybe we'll do it with the run up to the Road to Thought Bubble. But it is a hilarious story, and I kind of accidentally, like I hold my hands up, I accidentally set up Sean for a massive fail.
I've never seen Sean's face go as red in all my life, and he, not only was he red and embarrassed, but he was really, really hungover that morning. So I felt really sorry for him.
But then the bad luck just continued.
Oh, good times, good times.
But
speaking of Thought Bubble, tickets are on sale, Charlie. Tickets are on sale.
We've already booked our hotel.
Oh yeah, we're at hotels, and apparently that it's booked up really, really quickly, the hotels. So if you are thinking about coming, and even if you're going, I've got nobody to go with, just go meet up with us. You know, we'll be there from the Friday, and Sean will be there asking for autographs.
I can just picture him now. Like it's hilarious. Like I'm reminiscing about the fact that I sent him up to see Michael Dilianis, and it wasn't him. It was some woman. And he still took the comics up to get signed. And then her response was, I can sign them for you. I'm not Michael Dilianis, but I'll sign them for you. And he was like, no, you're all right. Then walks off. And then I think he got a comic signed, or he picked up some comics from somewhere. And then there's an old lady with a stand. And he literally just unloaded. He literally just unloaded his bag on this poor woman's table.
With all our stuff on it.
It was hilarious, but yes.
Poor Sean's just unsubscribed. Sorry,
that's
Sean.
Just that really tickled me. But yeah, Sean, it was lovely. And even after that, he bought us a lovely AOK, and my AOK was, where is it? It was the Me You Love in the Dark, which was awesome, and that was signed by Zuozu. So yeah, it was a great weekend. So yeah, thanks for that, Sean, and thanks for the laughs as well.
We love Sean to bits. Sean's one of the most genuine and generous guys out there. So
Panels and a half pint superhero, that is it. So yes, Nice House on the Lake, volume number 1, 200 pages of absolutely freaky shit.
Indeed,
from DC Black Label. There we go. Up next, I've gone with another DC. I've gone Harley Quinn and the Birds of Prey, The Hunt for Harley, 160 pages, $16.99, which comes in at about probably $12 to $13.99. Written by Jimmy Palmiotti and artwork by the fantastic, for me, the only woman other than Katana Collins that can draw Harley Quinn fantastically and write about Harley Quinn.
The only woman, yes.
Yes. Yeah. Because I'd love to see her and Katana Collins do a Harley Quinn story. Katana Collins writes it, Amanda Connor draws it. But yeah, this is basically, I love this. This came out when the Birds of Prey movie was there, and it tells the dysfunctional life of Harley Quinn and her Birds of Prey. She's come back to Gotham because she's heard the Joker's doing all the shit that he shouldn't be doing, and she wants part of the action. She's kind of become this anti-superhero now that everyone loves, and obviously you've got Montoya, you've got Black Canary, and then you've got all the other Birds of Prey, and this ties together issues number 1 to 4. And this is an oversized book as well. Like the individual issues were magazine size. So I'm hoping this looks quite good. And some of the jokes they're telling us are a bit close to the edge because obviously it's DC Black Label. So yeah, but it's Hunt for. I'm a massive Harley Quinn fan, so this was a no-brainer for me.
Your Harley Quinn, don't you?
I do, yeah. And this was a no-brainer for me. So yeah, will you be
Terry
picking this up?
Dodson's my favourite Harley Quinn artist, I think.
Is he?
Dodson. Yeah.
Good old Terry Dodson. But yeah, I'm definitely be picking this up. I've got issues number 1 to 4, and it'd be only right if I picked up the trade paperback as well.
160 pages as well. That's a hefty boy.
It is hefty and oversized, like magazine cover as well. So yeah, it is good. Right, here we go. This was your pick. Was this your pick? If it was your pick,
it was my pick. Yeah. Speaking of the Me You Love in the Dark, by the fantastic Scott Young and Jorge Corona. I'm going for Jorge. Or is it George?
I think it's George.
Jorge Corona.
Jorge Corona.
I don't know why I did it that way. It's 128 pages for $16.99. This has issues 1 to 5, and we enjoyed this. I think it's a dark, kind of a mysterious, kind of it's out of the Scotty Young playbook where it's not something that certainly I can only speak for myself, that I necessarily would have associated with Scott Young. And I don't think a lot of people appreciate how good Scott Young's writing actually is, because they know him for that, typical BBS style, caricature style on his covers. But I thought this was fantastic, really great. I believe that this is it. It's only going to be 5 issues, and I think that's all it needed. I don't want it to go on and sort of but yeah, fans of Stephen King and Neil Gaiman will enjoy this beautiful, dark, and disturbing story of discovery, love, and terror.
This is already on I've already pre-ordered this. This is like, I was all invested in this from issue number 1. Love Scotty Young as you do, and he's writing. Like, I think everyone knows him for his artwork, but his writing is second to none as well. Like, he's really good at it. Really, really good at it. And
that front cover is just set up beautifully to get a sketch done on the easel that's on the bottom left-hand side. So
it's perfect. I can't wait to pick this up. I'm absolutely loving it. Definitely going to get this. It's on my pre-order. So yeah, that'll probably be getting that by Friday this week.
Nice.
Next week. No, yeah, pre-order.
Next week.
I'm confused. It is next week, isn't it? We're Monday next week. Yeah, I'm looking forward to this. Great. Good. And then we have, that's it. That's the trades. That's the trades.
That was a super quick show. It felt really quick, even though it's 1 hour and 18 minutes.
I know. So this week, we won't be able to say who's won or anything, so we'll have to leave that up to Instagram. I think what we'll do, we'll take the covers that we're going to do, and we all post the same post. Me, you, and Tom, we all post the same post, and we say what cover's going to win. We get the votes, we collate them, and then maybe if I didn't win, maybe we let them know. If you win, you let them know, and if Tom wins, Tom lets them know. But we can all we'll all combine on Instagram and obviously on YouTube with the community tab and stuff.
And as a little incentive, and I'm just spitballing here, but whoever will take the people who vote, if we can work that out some way, and I'll send an AOK to them.
Oh. No, look at that. So there's an incentive to that's crafty, because that's an incentive for them to vote for you. Okay.
No, whoever wins, I will send out an AOK. But I'm just saying, out of the goodness of my heart, I'm sending an AOK. So just bear that in mind whenever you're picking.
But I think it's going to be a very close week. It's close between me and you. I've won week 1, week 3, week 5. You've won week 2, week 6. Tom, unfortunately, hasn't won any. But I think if it's going to be a week where Tom's going to win one, I think it potentially could be this week. We've all picked really strong covers,
Yeah, I think Tom's really in the running. I think, this isn't a sprint. This is a marathon. We've got 52 of these to do.
We have.
So we've got plenty of time for Tom to win.
So that's going to be interesting. Who is going to win week number 7? That's going to be interesting. But it's now time for the new favourite feature of the show. It's the killer community. Andy, over to you, son.
We need a little musical intro for this. Can we do one now? Killer
community. There we go.
There we go. That's enough. Whoa. That's another few people unsubscribed after that.
We'll leave the intros to Tom, shall we?
We should. So yes, guys, this is the Killer Community segment. So what we want to do here at the Killer Comic Show is just to introduce or to familiarise people with some of the community that myself, Charlie, or Tom would watch or we would follow on Instagram that has some sort of geeky comic related element to it. So we have picked the one, the only, the fantastic Team Nerd Herd podcast. These guys can be found on YouTube, and what I will do is on the live on Thursday, I'll be in the chat anyway, I will drop the link to the Team Nerd Herd guys. I believe they're going to be moving the channel to a new one on the 1st of March. So I'll drop both the links for everybody to go and subscribe to them. So please do that. Let them know that the Killer Comic Show has sent you. Fantastic content. They do the Monday mail call. They do the reviews of books, similar to us guys. They do their pickups. They do their TV show reviews. You can also find them on Instagram at Team Nerd Herd Podcast. And like us, we've got us three in the Killer Comic Show, and obviously we have our own Killer community that watches us every week. But the Team Nerd Herd guys, we've got Steve, we've got Alonso, we've got Rob, we've got JR, we've got Jeff, we've got Anthony, and we've got Eric. So I hope I haven't missed anybody. But I've been watching these guys from way back, even before I started doing YouTube and doing my comic thing on Instagram. And effectively, you'll just get a mixture of comic and pop culture at its very best, as far as I'm concerned. And their mantra, which I've kind of taken on myself, is that if you want to do it right, collect what you like.
That's it.
Yeah. And I love it. I think that is really, really important. So make sure that you go check out those guys. Let them know that we sent you. I think you'll really enjoy their content. And I believe that Steve, Alonso, Rob, JR, Jeff, Anthony, and Eric all have their own Instagrams and stuff like that. So make sure you go follow those guys. That's the Team Nerd Herd podcast.
I can't really add to that, mate. I think you've covered it. They're a great group of guys. They jump in the chat time and again. We talk to them on Instagram and stuff, and they've got fantastic content. Like, they've got really, really good content. And as Andy said, they're going to be jumping over to a new channel. Are they keeping their existing channel?
I'm not too sure what the plan is. I just know that they've set up a new one that's sort of kicking off as of the 1st of March. So I will drop both the links. People can just sub up to both of them. But go and check out all the past videos. That they put out so much content. I really enjoy sitting down and watching it on the TV and commenting and things like that. So yeah, definitely go check those guys out. And what I also want to say, guys, is we plan on pushing out as many YouTube shows, Instagram pages for our Killer Community section. But if there's any that we don't know about and you guys would like to recommend in the chat, let us know. Yeah, just let myself, Charlie, or Tom know, and we can go check those guys out, because this is just our opinion. This is who we're set up to.
Yeah.
If there's people that we're missing, just let us know that are doing good things.
I don't really know what else to say other than we got a sneak peek for next week. That rhymes, that. We've got the Killer Comic Show sneak peek for next week. Now, you might notice that there's only two of us. There's been two of us for quite frequently. In the recent shows, there's been just the two of us, because Tom's off doing assessments, saving lives. He's doing the good deed. Like, he's doing fantastic stuff. But he does return next week. Tom will be back on the show March 3rd, next Thursday. Tom will be back on the show. But when you think that's just enough, when you think having Tom back on the show, the Three Horsemen, having Tom back on the show is just enough, Oh no, 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 no,
Probably
no.
the handsome bar has been raised by Tom.
It
But
has.
wait till you hear this, guys.
Now, we said we got something special for you, and we have next week live on the show, Thursday, March the 3rd. Myself, Andy, and Tom will be joined again by none other than Mr. Horror himself, the one and only Ram V, will be joining us again on the Killer Comic Show for his second guest appearance. There's only 2 people now that have been on the show twice. 3 people, actually. There's John Boy Mayers, there's Jeremy Holt, and there's the man with the most luscious locks in the world of comics. It's not Andy, it's Mr. Ram V. I can't wait for this. I'm so looking forward to this. Now look, there's just 4 comics that he's written amazingly. You've got Venom, you've got Layla Starr, The Many Deaths of Layla Starr, the fantastic Killer Comic Gold winner last year. You've got the fantastic Swamp Thing, and you have Carnage, which unfortunately, Carnage was meant to come out next Wednesday. It has been put back until the 24th of March now, but we will be covering that as well. And then the recent news that is absolutely amazing, and I think people are going to jump on, is the fact that he is now writing a DC Black Label Aquaman Andromeda. Is it Andromeda? It is Aquaman Andromeda, isn't it?
It's going to be pure horror Aquaman. Like, wow. And like when we last spoke to Ram, we were talking about that Venom was about to come out. I think we were in the midst of Layla Starr. We've got so much to talk about with Ram. We didn't really get the chance at Thought Bubble because he was so busy and we were running about crazy. And it's just going to be nice to sit down, look forward to what he's got coming up, but more importantly, just talk about Venom, talk about Layla Starr. And I, for one, just want to thank him for Layla Starr.
I just honestly, Layla Starr hit pretty close to the bone for me. And when I was doing the interview with him, it was a very emotional time for me. So yeah, he literally, it's sold out. It's sold out from Diamond.
That's right.
That's how fantastic it was. So yes, Mr. Ram V, he's gone second printing, and the man who is responsible for all that, Mr. Ram V, will be joining us next week on the show at 9 p.m. as always. It's been a good show. I would say, I'm going to say it, the chat has been buzzing because I know the chat is buzzing every single week. So I'm going to say it, it's Monday night. We normally do this on a Thursday. Massive shout out and thanks to everyone that joins us in the chat every week. Massive thanks to my sexy co-host. He's not here, but I've got Andy. But massive thanks to you every single week. We've got Tom, who will be joining us back with Ram V. That is a sexy show we've got lined up for you next week. We've got me, we've got Andy, and then we've got Ram V and Tom Malin, the second most sexiest man on YouTube. Number one is obviously Mark Oldroyd. But you know,
absolutely, big up to Mark. I'm just so glad that we were able to get a show put out for what is going to be Thursday, because we wanted to be consistent. We didn't want to miss it, and we hate when we miss it. But life happens, and we just thought, you know what, we'll record something. The chat's still going to be watching, going to be buzzing, and then we've got Ram and Tom to look forward to the following week, and then we're into March already. Like, what's happening?
I can't believe it. We were into March, and then before you know it, it's October, and we're doing Road to Thought Bubble, and then it goes from there. But yes, it's been another fantastic show. Thank you all for joining us in the chat. We will get the killer covers up on Instagram. You can vote this week. We'll get it on the community tab on YouTube as well. You can place your votes, and we will see you next week at 9 o'clock GMT for the one, the only Ram V will be joining us again. Guys, have a fantastic week. See you later.
See ya.